behalf of the Association of Consulting Engineers Sri Lanka, the ACESL, and the Conference Organizing Committee, it is my pleasure to warmly welcome you all at this inauguration ceremony.
The fantastic destination joined the important event for consulting engineering industry in Asia Pacific region.
I'd firstly like to congratulate the organising committee of ASPAC and the Sri Lankan Association on hosting this conference. Many of us are aware of the challenges in doing these conferences. This one has started very well. The agenda and the program is full of rich content, which I hope will benefit you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged that this morning we are joined by our chief guest, the Honourable Minister Engineer Partiki Champika Ranawaka, who is our Minister of Megapolis and Western Development. And it's now our pleasure to listen to our Honourable Minister share his point of view at this significant occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome Honourable Partiki Champika Ranawaka.
It is forecasted that Asia's infrastructure market will show an annual growth rate of 7 to 8% in the coming years. At this growth rate, total infrastructure market will reach US $5.3 trillion by 2025. As you would imagine, in the world map used today in America, the Western Hemisphere lies right in the front, with the Indian Ocean region relegating to the edges. Western megapolis will also be grand strategy to eliminate the congestion pressures on urban physical infrastructure on transport, housing, urban services and amenities, and the environment.
India has also taken the lead in setting up of International Solar Alliance that was launched this year with the participation of the Prime Minister and the President of France. So Indian power system is dominated by coal, as you probably know, and India has installed generation capacity of 330,000 megawatts. Now the reduction of plant load factor was also related to problems related to the coal supply, and also the financial situation of some of the discoms. So some of the discoms in India incurring a loss, and if they purchase more energy, if they sell more energy, they would their financial losses would increase. So they have resorted to load shedding, not due to capacity shortages, but to minimize their financial losses. So these are some of the issues that are currently faced in India.
part of the INKINDO, Indonesian National Consultant Association, and I'm part of my company, consultant company is Bita Bina Semesta. Bita Group is actually an old engineering companies in Indonesia. We started 1980s, and now we have 3 companies specializing in engineering, specializing in planning and environment, and architecture. I'm part of the planning and environment part of Bita. This is an issue, actually maybe it's an issue in other countries, but this is mainly an issue for my country in Asia, in Indonesia, because of the infrastructure connectivity could affect a disparity in regional development.
There are many transport-related projects going on and about to come in Sri Lanka, but I am going to focus on something in main transport hub in Sri Lanka and Colombo, for you to understand what is happening as at now in the city, and for you to getting to know that what are the potentials in Sri Lanka in future to have large infrastructure like this to support with the transport sector. Having a multimodal transport system is to have a single journey experience for any user to have their seamless travel, because you should have the easiest access from origin to destinations always. We are always moving to the more and more capacity and more faster mode of transportation. Since 1940s, 1930s, we have started with trains, railways in Sri Lanka, and we had a very good public transport system with bus and rail integration. During that time in 1970s was our golden era in bus transport system in Sri Lanka.
I thought we'll make a slight variation and try to see the future which is going to come, and how we, the ASPAC countries, are going to tackle the future in a best possible manner. Most of the ASPAC countries have signed the Paris Declaration for Environment, and we are all committed to sustainable development for the future. Just to look at the infrastructure investment, this is an ADB slide, slightly dated, but you can see in terms of percentage of GDP, Sri Lanka is spending 4.2%, PR China is spending 6.8%, India is spending 5.4%. So it's a growth all round, and all these countries are rearing with each other to go faster.
Sri Lanka has a long history of infrastructure development, second to no other country. The biggest project undertaken since independence in Sri Lanka is the accelerated Mahavali multipurpose development project. These reservoirs has a combined electricity generating capacity of 662 megawatts, with the earlier completed both and Ukuela hydropower plants. As the area of development covered the entire Mahavali river basin of extent 1,268 square kilometers, we did not have much infrastructure facilities such as roads, electricity and telecommunication, etc. before the commencement of this project. Many infrastructure developments had to be undertaken to facilitate this project. It is the only country to have free trade agreements with the 2 nations with nuclear power in South Asia, namely India and Pakistan, that gives free access to over 1.4 billion consumers. Sri Lanka is also party to South Asia Free Trade Area and BMICH, which are aiming regional FTAs. Sri Lanka leads the South Asian region in human development indices on many counts. Infant mortality 8.5% per 1,000 live births, ranking 92 out of 186 countries in 2014. This has been achieved due to the universal health service provided free to all. Sri Lanka has the most literate population in South Asia and one of the highest in developing countries. Literacy rate 91.1 for females and 93.5 for males. It is one of the few countries in the world that has free education from kindergarten to university. due to above, Sri Lanka has a workforce that is not only competent but intelligent, trainable and quite comfortable with high-tech production and services.
We have wisdom more than knowledge actually, because the technology is always developed from year to year. That's why my background is actually the rock mechanics engineer. Yeah. Why we should give the chance to the younger generation? This is very important. So the elderly should go to this new field of engineering consultancy services. In 2016, 2 engineers get the Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize. Here is the Bengt Holmström from Sweden and Olivier Simon Garciat from France. But both the lecturer at MIT. People not understand the meaning of design and build, construction and EPC turnkey, sometimes missing. This is very inspiring statement I have from Gordon James. I think most of you know who is Gordon. They said 3 things that we should pay attention is the fact that in many developing countries, the FIDIC condition and the role of dispute board were practically unknown. This is important because in FIDIC condition already mentioned clearly there is a dispute board, but still lack of education has led to misuse and the appearance of many dysfunctional dispute board. And then the philosophy that an Eastern expression come to mind when facing a strong wind, one should bend as a wise bamboo. This is what a Chinese proverb also said. Yeah? Chinese proverb also said that if you have many regulation, it means many also people against the regulation. So the better way, as Lao Tzu said, no regulation is better.
Today is a digital era. I think a lot of companies, a lot of organizations are talking about digital transformation, and we are talking. I think many of these things organization will transform within the next probably 5 to 10 years. There will be, we call it 4th industrial revolution, and as well as the organization will have a lot of impacts due to digital setups. So why we should move electronic document controls? Some of the important consideration, we need who needs what information and who is authorized to access, and all these things need to be controlled in a project. So people need information, and even project managers, they want to find, okay, what is the variation order, what is the letter that I send, what is this topic, all the correspondence. To quickly pull out those things will be quite critical and important. So we need to store this information, and what is the format and various types of things that we need to understand. So there are various issues as well that we need to consider. When it comes for these documents, etc., there is an urgency to find this information. So we want to find out, okay, when this variation was given, what are all the documents, and so frequency, urgency, and all these things matters. We need to understand what is the technology that is available, how is to use these things, what are the environment, and as well as how to treat this sensitive information, confidentiality, and other things that we need to consider as well. So there are various ways, the communication plans also, if you look at, there are interactive communication. So electronic systems will facilitate better. The other ones are, if you use for manual and other things, it very much fall into push or pull type models.
You know, we are investing a lot of money in infrastructure, as many speakers have said, but we have to look for quality also, and sustainable is becoming very important issue in the entire world. CI has a membership of about 500, which comprises of individuals as well as corporates. All types of consultancy companies are our members, and for many years we are in this association. We are doing tremendous work to promote professional consultancy in India, and also educating the government offices, government public sector corporations as to how to use consultants, how they should be paid, and what sort of agreement they should have. We are also doing training on FIDIC contractual conditions from time to time. Why did we select this criteria? I think you are all concerned that the people safety is the main thing in infrastructure, and for that we have to plan and do safety. There are many accidents during construction and also accidents after construction. So safety is an important thing, and that means quality. And the consultants are the first stage of producing quality designs which should adhere to the standards, and we believe that this will be an interesting topic to cover all aspects of infrastructure, roads, rail, airports, and even ports and harbors and inland water transport. ASPAC has decided to acknowledge and promote remarkable achievements of YPs, and for this purpose the applications will be awarded, invited very soon, and it is proposed that the awards will be presented during the ASPAC 2019 in Delhi.